Yes, indeed. Welcome into another edition of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook network. Or should maybe we got to finally start calling it X. Maybe it's time. I don't know. Either way,
screw Elon.
All right, so we'll keep it as Twitter for now. But either way, on all those platforms, give us a follow here, or a like, or a subscribe. We love it. We love Rip N Packs here, and appreciate you guys or ladies or whoever all watching here. Jared's fresh from the road here, and he's back just in time for the real MLB opening day tomorrow. So we are very excited about that. All baseball packs today. Rip and Rant's going to be baseball today. The figure 5 is going to be. So it's all baseball today, folks.
I love it, and nothing says Rob Manfred and MLB season like rain delays to delay the start of the MLB season. So if you happen to be a Mets fan or a Phillies fan, you're probably a little peeved right now. You're not going to be going to the ballpark tomorrow, but hey, at least they told you a day in advance. So there's that.
And also, it's not like, oh, they got snowed out in Minnesota, and it's like, right, why would you open the season in Minnesota in March? You know what I mean? Like that happens too. So. But nonetheless, here we are, and it's going to be all baseball today. And Jared's got some stuff to talk about. I got some stuff to talk about. So before we get pack ripping, what do you say we get ranting here?
Rip and Rant.
It's time to kick things off on Rip and Riff with
my Rip and Rant.
Thanks, Dave. All right, so I'm gonna go first here because you love that intro, right? Yeah, really. Yeah, good.
Love LaGreca. Love a good LaGreca rant. I hope one day I'm able to do one as good as him.
I mean, let's be real here. Both the LaGreca brothers are just first ballot Hall of Fame ranters. Don on ESPN Radio in New York, and Dave, obviously. But yeah,
100%.
I will not do anything close to that justice, but I will say what's got me bothered a little bit is. The Oakland A's are scheduled to open up their last season in Oakland tomorrow against, I forget who they're opening up with at home. But nonetheless, it's the last opening day in Oakland because they're going to Vegas.
Seats available, I'm sure.
Sure, still plenty of good seats available. So they've been in Oakland since 1968, and it kind of stinks. I already have, I think it's like Thursday, September 25th. It's an afternoon game against Texas, which is their last home game. I'm probably going to try and go down for that. I'm not a huge A's fan. Like I have the Yankees shirt on. I'm a Yankee fan. But when I moved out to the North Bay, like going to A's games is fun. It's cheap. It's not as much as a pain in the ass as the Giants games, even though the view is spectacular. Second best one among baseball stadiums. But, before we talk, lately there's been talk about expansion to Salt Lake City and all these other cities. Can we get the A's figured out first? I know they got Vegas figured out, but can we at least figure out, before the body's still warm? Like, can we at least figure out where they're playing the next 2 years? I know Sacramento's been thrown out there. Maybe they play in the Las Vegas minor league stadium there, but nonetheless, can that get figured out first before you start talking about moving on?
I mean, the entire situation with the A's has been a mess. I don't blame MLB for looking to expand anytime soon because it's been
a while,
25-30 years since they did. The Rays and the Diamondbacks were 1998 their first season, so I don't blame them for especially with the way sports in the world's going and whatnot. I'm sure Rob Manfred is dying to charge $3 billion for an MLB expansion franchise to whoever is willing to take them, whether it's Nashville or Montreal or Vancouver or Raleigh, North Carolina, or wherever the hell someone comes up with that sort of money. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to since you mentioned going to A's games, I wanted to ask you something about that because I've never been to that stadium, and it looks like I'm probably never going to go to that stadium once the A's move out and they inevitably knock it down for a Walmart or something. I like the fact that you mentioned the experience going to A's games. The fact that I don't want to say it's like a college vibe, but you sort of get, like that party-ish vibe, with like the fans like chanting and the drum banging and, all the colorful signs and all that sort of stuff. So is that probably the best part about going to A's games?
So the best part about going to A's games is that you can get seats dirt cheap at face value. Like you can sit a dozen rows behind home plate for like $60. Like it's insane. And and that's the thing, it's funny because you look at people like, oh, if you're unhappy with the team, stop going to games. Well, they became unhappy with the team and they stopped going to games. And what happened? They lose the team anyway. So right. When they go, it's great. There are a lot of A's fans in the Bay Area. Listen, there are a lot more Giants fans, but there is an A's presence here. But going to baseball games there just kind of feels like the way, maybe it's just a little bit nostalgic because it's an old stadium. So it feels like the stadiums we went to before, like everybody got new stadiums over the last 20, 25 years or so. But it's got a little bit of nostalgia feel to it. And, even when the Raiders were there, like that was a whole other environment. Raider fans, I mean, if you've never been to a Raider game in Oakland, it's unlike any other football experience. I mean, it's more like a concert than a game, like with just what's going on in the stands and stuff. And like, it's great. But yeah, it's just, it's always sad to see a team go, and, it's just another team leaving the East Bay, which is, the third team to leave out of there in the last, 10 years.
Well, and that's the other thing I want to mention with the stadium itself, because you mentioned kind of comparing it to, I mean, for lack of a better term, it's a shithole.
It's a dump. It's got that charm. It's got the history, but it's a dump.
Right. And also, like, you have raw sewage in the dugout. Like, what are we doing here? But how would you compare it to, like, some like the old stadiums, like, from our area that you're used to, like the Nassau Coliseum?
I would say like Shea Stadium has kind of got a similar feel to it. I mean, they also ruined that stadium. So when Al Davis built Mount Davis, which is known as like those big section of seats that was meant to add capacity to the stadium, but what ended up happening is it just ended up being tarped off all the time because they didn't sell it up there. So like for Raider games or A's games, and what it did is it blocked the view of the Oakland Hills, which the Oakland Stadium used to have one of the nicest views or the Coliseum, I should say, because of the view of the Oakland Hills. And then Mount Davis just blocked that. So like one of the charms of the stadium went away in the mid-90s as a result of that. So that was kind of like the beginning of the end for that stadium.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, that's a bummer. If you're an A's fan, I can't imagine you're going to be following the team all that much closely once they move to Las Vegas. But I mean, there's other teams out there. I guess you could root for, I don't know. I don't want to say the Giants. That'd be like telling a Mets fan to go root for the Yankees, I guess. But like, MLB is going to expand a couple of years. Maybe pick one of those teams. Go root for the North Carolina Wranglers or whatever they want to call them.
I like that name.
Thank you.
See the logo already.
That was nice and off the cuff, so I appreciate it. So you excited for the baseball season? Because I think as a Yankee fan, we're both Yankee fans on this show. I think I'm cautiously optimistic about the season going in.
Yeah, I definitely, I mean, Garrett Cole, potentially being injured or, dealing with injury to start the season, not great. See what happens with Juan Soto this year. But I mean, there's reasons to think that they could win the division for sure. I know Baltimore, was a juggernaut last year, and there's no reason to think they can't do it again. But the Yankees should be competitive throughout the season this year. It shouldn't be like last year when Aaron Judge got hurt, and I was like, all right.
That's it. No, I agree with you. I think the lineup's more balanced this year. Just the fact that they actually have some lefty hitters in that lineup. It's not just Soto, but also adding an Alex Verdugo, who's a perfectly cromulent Major League Baseball player. I hope you like that word choice.
Yeah, that was a nice reference there.
Yeah, perfectly acceptable. A nice lineup. I think Rodon's going to bounce back and have a nice year. I think I'm hopeful that Nestor Cortez stays healthy. Obviously, I'm a little concerned about the number of injuries the Yankees have already had, and we haven't even reached opening day yet. Like DJ LeMay, who's going to start the year injured. The Yankees just made that trade today for John Birdie, moving Ben Rortvedt out. So, it sounds like a solid utility type of guy. Not exactly a ringing endorsement for Oswaldo Cabrera and his future in pinstripes, but he's someone they could comfortably plug into their lineup towards the bottom. He's got some speed. He can play a bunch of different positions. He can spell the other guys, give him a day off. So, solid move there for a catcher who wasn't really in their plans anymore. I think they're probably a wild card team. I still like the Orioles to win the division. I just think that much talent the Orioles have, and that much young talent that they have. These guys who have come up through their farm system now. It's the best farm system in baseball. They made the trade this offseason to bring in Corbin Burns at the top of their rotation. So I still think the Yankees are a tier below the top teams in the AL. I put them below Baltimore, below Houston, below Texas, and then they're probably like number 4 would be my guess.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment. Trying to not be partial because being a Bronx Bombers fan and everything, but I'll say this: if things go really right for them, they can absolutely be among those teams. But I mean, everything's got to go right. Everybody's got to be at the top of their game. Everybody's got to stay healthy. Otherwise, yeah, I think they're in that wild card mix with a chance to maybe pull off an upset, depending upon how they catch a division opponent. Now, an opponent in the divisional round or the wild card round, for that matter. It's going to be a busy week for me because they don't come out till to Oakland till September 20th, and then later that week is the last day's home game. So might be at Oakland Coliseum twice that week.
Yeah, that sounds like a big week for you. Hopefully, you'll be able to see the Yankees come to town. I know you always try to go whenever they come to town every year. So,
and last year I made the mistake of going the night before Domingo Germán's perfect game, not the night of. I went the day before, and the Yankees had like a grand total of like 2 hits in that game. It was pathetic. Like they made the Oakland A's look like an offensive juggernaut in that game.
Yeah, so. That's neither here nor there. So you ready to preview the baseball season?
I think we're ready to preview the baseball season with some pack rips here. What do you think? Nice. I mean, I think it's time. I mean, let's take a look at what we're ripping today.
Well, I mean, what better way to preview the 2024 season than to go back to the early 90s? So I got a couple packs of cards from the early 90s, some vintage stuff. 92 Fleer Ultra pack, because nothing says 2024 baseball like 1992 Fleer Ultra. And a pack of 1994 Score MLB cards. So really excited to see what we might get in these, especially when you pull up the graphic with the rookies right there. I want to see what rookies that I'm chasing. So, Pat Mahomes Senior rookie, John Flaherty from West Nyack, New York. So shout out to him.
That's why I put him in there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Scott Brocious, World Series MVP with the Yankees. I doubt we'll get the Tony Gwynn autograph, but you never know. And Billy Wagner should get in the Hall of Fame next year, so that'd be a pretty cool one to get. Is that D. Lee? Is that Derek Lee,
that former Derek Lee? Yes,
the former Marlin. And is that Trot Nixon, the former Red Sox?
Yeah, I threw him in there because I mean he's got one of the all-time great baseball names, Trot Nixon.
It is a pretty cool name. I mean, I hate that he was a Red Sox, but it is a pretty cool name. So what do you got today, my friend?
So I'm going to bring it more modern here. I'm usually the guy that brings it back to the 90s, but I love the years we're doing. Fleer Ultra is just a great set from that era. I love that Fleer Ultra look, but I got some 2020 Topps Archives baseball here. We got 18 trading cards we'll go through. And as players come out from either the team or we want to reminisce, we'll do a little preview there. And what we are chasing there, we got a Bo Bichette rookie, a Nico Horner, the new Padre, Dylan Cease, Jesus Luzardo. And then you got fan favorite autos and the combo cards are some of the other ones we're looking at there. But what do you say? You want to go reverse chronological? We'll start with me and then we'll go backwards to you.
Yeah, let's start with you because I like those that style pack you have. We've done that before in the show with like the 2022, 2023 model. So I'm sure the 2020s will look very similar, but you just love that old look from that Topps does with those cards. So and we got that nice ripping sound right there. So
and today I think it's time to debut the Rip Cam is what I think is time to do.
Oh baby, look at this show.
Let's get this up on the screen here, and we're gonna do this right as we learn the new layouts here. There we go.
This is a real professional show.
All right,
I'll put you on top there.
Here we go. So we got right out of the pack, we've got Dansby Swanson. Nice looking card, though. Braves. Let's talk about the Braves for a second. It's the Braves and the Dodgers in the NL this year, and then it's kind of everybody else.
And then everybody else. Although, I mean, the Diamondbacks had a really good offseason, and they just made that big signing yesterday, getting Jordan Montgomery on a very short-term deal. And Jordan Montgomery was a big part of the reason why the Rangers won the World Series last year. So, I still think the Dodgers are the team to beat in the NL West, but I wouldn't write off Arizona just yet.
Arizona is also in the mix, and the Giants too. I mean, they're also in the mix for the NL West too. So, but Atlanta to me is still the cream of the crop in that NL East, with maybe the Phillies kind of right behind them. Up next, we got Nelson Cruz, Twins designated hitter.
Shout out to Nelson Cruz, one of the great journeyman careers of our time.
Now, we're going back here. We got Dave Winfield pictured with the New York Yankees.
See, I mean, that's just a classic look. Dave Winfield, the high leg kick with the swing. He's getting ready to crush a baseball.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that's a
love that
home
card.
run look there, but that looks like a solid stand-up double to the gap. That's what it looks like is coming on that swing.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't mess with Dave Winfield. Now we'll go back to the modern era here. We got Sandy Alcantara with the Miami Marlins.
Yep, former Cy Young Award winner. I believe he's going to miss the entire year this year as he's recovering from Tommy John, but very good pitcher. Hopefully, for Miami's sake, he has a couple more good years before they inevitably trade him because they don't pay anybody.
All right, we're definitely going old here. We got the splendid splinter, Ted Williams.
I've heard about him. He's pretty good.
He's solid. I heard he could put the ball in play pretty often. I heard he batted 400 once. And then another guy here, one of my all-time favorites, actually, Cal Ripken Jr.
That's a pretty sweet Cal Ripken card there. Yeah, I mean, Cal Ripken, one of the all-time greats. The Iron Man streak, it's never going to be done again in Major League Baseball, especially, 162 game season. And the fact that these guys now, everybody, I don't want to say load management because that's an NBA term, but they basically load manage. They look to find guys a day off. I don't even know what the longest consecutive game streak is in baseball right now, but I would guess it's probably around like 200 games. I'm going to look that up while you
look that up while I throw out Eddie Rosario here with the Minnesota Twins. Nice little look there. And then staying in the AL Central, we got Carlos Santana. I mean, they're the odds-on favorites there, I would think, in the Central to come away with it.
All right. According to our good friends at Google, Whit Merrifield has the longest active games played streak at 518. I don't know if that's accurate, though, because I think that's from 2012. So who's the current longest one? No, that's for what the active, not list of Major League Baseball consecutive games. You can keep going while I fill up.
We got Chris Sale here. I think that's the one team in the AL East that we're not expecting a whole lot out of this year. That we really don't expect a playoff push out of them. But that's kind of the expectation there in Boston right now. That's fine.
That's the expectation in Boston. It also doesn't help that Chris Sale's no longer on the Red Sox. He's on the Braves now.
Yes.
So, but yeah, if Chris Sale is healthy, I mean, that's an ace-like arm at the top, near the top of Atlanta's rotation, and he doesn't even need to be the ace on that team. Like, he really just needs to be like an overqualified number 3. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool there.
Now we got Anthony Santander, an integral part of that Orioles team. Let's see,
yeah, one of their great young sluggers. I wonder if he's the guy they eventually trade once they start making room for some of the other guys they have there.
I could see him being expendable here. We got a rookie card, Robel Garcia, pictured with the Cubs. Let's go back. How do we feel about the Cubs in the NL Central this year? I feel like it's one of the least intriguing divisions to me.
It's a soft division. They spent a ton of money on Craig Counsell to be the manager. And I am very much the manager doesn't matter in Major League Baseball sort of guy. So I found that move a little bit perplexing. They did wind up bringing back Cody Bellinger when his market turned out to not materialize quite as well as they thought. I mean, they got as good a shot as anybody in the NL Central. I'd probably go them. I mean, Milwaukee's probably still. See, I don't know, though. Milwaukee, I mean, they lost Burns this offseason.
What about the Reds?
Oh, Coach Prime. How about that?
What about the Reds?
Yeah, I mean, the Reds got a lot of good young players, so they're certainly in the mix as well. I mean, St. Louis and Pittsburgh are probably the bottom of that division at this moment. So,
love me some Coach Prime. He's been a breath of fresh air for college sports. I'll tell you that. Let's see here. We got go with the old school A here. Raleigh Fingers. Those old yellow jerseys there. Those are pretty sharp.
Love that. Love the handlebar mustache as well.
Maybe I'll do a mustache like that one day. I'm sure my wife will absolutely find that attractive. Here we go with some baby Blue Jays here with Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette.
Yeah, that's a cute little picture there with Bo Bichette and Vlad Jr. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Blue Jays do in a couple of years when both those guys hit free agency, because I can't imagine they're gonna pay both of them. I would guess they'd probably pick one or the other, and I'm gonna guess they keep Bichette because he's a shortstop. But it's funny, the Blue Jays, they're one of those teams that's kind of like I don't want to say a perennial disappointment because they make the playoffs, but they haven't won anything with this iteration of their team. And like Kevin Biggio is not as good as, obviously he's not as good as his father, but he's not as good a highly touted prospect as
he didn't live up to the pedigree.
Exactly. So
yeah, I mean they're also a boom team though. If they're hanging around and they get hot at the right time, they can beat anybody. But what I like about that photo is that actually looks like a picture you would take where, like, with your best friend from Little League that's like hanging, that's up on one of the, like, your refrigerator. That's what that picture looks like.
Yeah, like a nice little Polaroid picture that you put on the wall in your college dorm or something.
Now we got Bo Bichette looking a little more angry there, a little Bo Bichette rookie right there.
That Whit Merrifield streak ended, by the way. So I have no idea.
Good old Google.
Yeah, Google letting us down. I blame Elon, even though he doesn't own it.
Even though he has nothing to do with it.
Bo Bichette rookie card's a pretty nice pull there.
I have enjoyed that. That has made this pack very worth it here. What else? I think I got this pack down at Papa J in Rona Park, the one card shop I tend to go to. Got a throwback here, an old New York Giants card, Monty Irvin. Shout out Christopher Mad Dog Russo. He could probably give us like a solid 3 minutes on the career of Monty Irvin if he was here.
He'd probably berate us for not knowing who Monty Irvin is.
Monty Irvin? You don't know Monty Irvin?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a pimple on Monty Irvin's fanny.
Yes. My Mad Dog impression has gone way south over since I don't really do it nearly as much anymore. Albert Pujols here, one of the all-time greats, pictured with the Angels. Shout out Tyler Soto, heavy T on air.
Do we have to? I
like Tyler. He's got it rough. He's a Falcons fan. He's an Angels fan. Like cut him some slack.
I mean, that's all a choice, though. It's like, he chose to do that.
That's fine. He's still a nice guy, though.
It's like choosing to be a Jets fan.
Yeah, we don't have to go there. We're not talking football today. We're talking baseball. We're going to close this pack out here with Sean Murphy pictured there with the Oakland A's rookie card there.
And then nice rookie card there, pull there, and he's a pretty good player. And obviously now with the Braves, he's a big part of what they're going to do this year.
Now, didn't Will Smith just sign like $140 million contract? Did I just see that alert pop up before I came on?
You did, and I'm glad you brought that up because that seems like a horribly undervalued contract. That's the type of thing. I mean, if Will Smith literally didn't just agree to it, I would fire my agent over it. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like I listen, and the Dodgers just keep spending money.
Yeah, it must be nice to be a fan of a team that takes winning seriously and is willing to spend whatever it takes to do it. Wish my team would do that.
We used to root for one of those teams.
Yeah, we did, and then Hal decided he'd rather build another deck on his yacht than pay the luxury tax. So
there you go. And sometimes it's, and then I'm sure all 27.
Wait, did you actually have a Will Smith card there, or you just brought it?
No,
up?
I just brought it up because he was a catcher, and I figured it was a good time to bring it up. And all the 27 people watching right now probably love the Yankee fans complaining about how we're
exactly. Yeah, we're complaining about being cheap when the Pirates opening day payroll is like $40.
Yeah, exactly. So we understand. We're complaining about not having sneakers when you're complaining about not having feet. We get that. We understand.
Exactly. All right. Let's start with the. Actually, you know what? We'll go chronologically backwards. So
backwards,
we'll start with the 94 scorecards.
There we go.
So let's get that pack. Nice.
I'm excited.
I even pre-cut this pack, and we will start here with from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Dave Hansen.
Okay, let's see. Let's get a good look at that card there. Yeah, I like it. It's sometimes simple is good. You got a nice border there. Got the name, got the team, colors correlate. That's a great picture there. It's really putting an emphasis on good pictures.
Yep, that Dodgers look has not changed over the years. Third baseman making a nice little backhand play there to throw out the runner at first base. So shout out to him. Gary Gaetti, pretty good player in his day from your Kansas City Royals. Is he a Hall of Famer? No, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
Is he a Hall of Famer, or did I get that mixed up with somebody?
He might be a Royals Hall of Famer. I don't think he's a baseball Hall of Famer.
He's not a baseball Hall of Famer. He's a two-time All-Star, four-time Gold Glove, and 1987 World Series champion with the Twins. So,
yep. So, this is an interesting card though, because the back of it doesn't say Gary Gaetti. It has Freddie. Oh no, these cards are stuck together.
I was gonna say you either got an error card there, or they're stuck.
No, they were stuck together. I thought for a second this was a misprint because the next card behind it is Freddie Benavidez from the Colorado Rockies. This might have been the Rockies' second year in the
Second
big
year.
leagues.
93 was their first year.
Right, but they were stuck together, so I literally thought it was like a like a weird variant, and it's like, oh, maybe I could actually put this in a penny sleeve and it might be worth something. It's like, no, I'm just a big dumb idiot who hasn't separated the cards.
That's fine.
Yeah, so we have our first rookie card, and this is a pretty good rookie card, a pretty good player in his day, Vinny Castilla from the Colorado Rockies.
I believe that, it was, you had Andres Galarraga at first and him at third. That's a good little corner combo there.
Yep, and this is another one where the cards just stuck together. I guess that's just to be expected with a pack this old.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty solid card there. And player that you just pulled recently on an episode of Rip N Riff here with the New York Yankees, Lee Smith.
Lee Smith, I forgot he played with the Yankees for a brief period. So the Yankees had 2 of the 3 best closers of all time on their roster.
Do a Google search while I go to the next card. This might be a Sal Fasano All-Star if he was only on the Yankees for 1 year.
It might be a Sal Fasano. That might be a big moment here. Stand by.
Yeah, so for those unaware, the Sal Fasano All-Stars are players who were on the Yankees for 1 year or less who are in my collection. We got our Gold Rush card here, and a pretty solid player to get one with, Darren Dalton from the Phillies.
He was a good catcher. Good catcher in his day.
Love that gold trim on the outside. That is a very aesthetically pleasing card.
And you got to think, we're going back 30 years here. But adding that gold trim on the card, like, I know it's not like a Panini Prism look, but I mean, you pull that card.
This was a big deal back then.
1994, you're like, whoa, like, what's this gold bordered shiny card? To go back to Lee Smith, he did the bare minimum to get on the Sal Fasano All-Stars. Made 8 appearances and got 3 saves, but posted a 0 ERA. So,
so he's perfect as a Yankee. So I wonder why they didn't keep him.
It looks like it's
probably at the end of his career as well. So
I believe he got traded from St. Louis to New York that year, and then that might have been I don't know why they didn't use him more, but anyway,
this was 93, so this wasn't the strike year. So maybe he got hurt or something. I don't remember. Mitch Williams from the Phillies, shown here with nice shades there.
Wild Thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Rob
Not
Dibble,
the original Wild Thing.
Not the original. Rob Dibble from the Cincinnati Reds.
Talk about 2 closers with attitudes that backed it up. There you go.
Yep. Another couple cards that are stuck together, so you'll have to bear with me while I try to separate it without damaging the cards. First one, Willie Wilson with the Chicago Cubs.
Okay, and it looked like I hope he made the catch there. I see the ball on the glove, so good.
Yeah, it looks like he made the catch there, so good for him.
It's an old stadium when you see hurricane fencing right along the outfield wall there.
See, I think that might be spring training.
It could be.
And then Kent Mercker from the Atlanta Braves.
Good, like 3-4 pitcher in the rotation in his day.
Mm-hmm. So we have those. We got a couple cards left in this pack. Devin White from the Toronto Blue Jays.
All right. That was they won their second World Series of back-to-back that year. That was the year they beat the Braves in 92, and then the Mitch Williams, Joe Carter walk-off in 93.
Yep. Brett Saberhagen from the New York Mets.
Long-time Royal, also pretty solid with the Mets.
Yep. Player who did not get in the Hall of Fame. This is not a rookie card either, unfortunately. Gary Sheffield, here pictured with the Florida Marlins.
Yeah, Sheffield. That's a guy I would not want to meet in an alley at night. That is not somebody I'd want to fight. I mean, think about the rocket arm from right field.
Well, speaking of people you wouldn't want to meet in an alley at night, we wrap up this pack with Chad Curtis from the California Angels. You don't want to meet him in an alley at night for other reasons, allegedly.
Completely other reasons. He's dead. When he did have a period where he was pretty popular with the Yankees, and now in hindsight, it's like we like to forget that.
Yeah, well, we'll just pretend he wasn't on the team. Let's just say he won't be invited back to Old Timers Day anytime soon. But pretty solid pack there.
That was a pretty solid pack. It's a 94 score, simple look, good players. That gold trim Darren Dalton. That's a nice one right there.
Yeah, we got a Sal Fasano All-Star. We got the Vinny Castilla rookie. So pretty solid pack there. So we'll dive into the 92 Fleer Ultras now. And hopefully we can replicate that with some of these cards. And we start here with a player I never heard of, Craig Grebeck from the Chicago White Sox.
Craig Gerbeck. Yeah, but I mean, let's just look at that Fleer Ultra look like that. That is probably my all-time favorite card look because they applied it across all the sports. You know, with the marble on the bottom, that's the team color with the gold border trim and the name. Like that is, to me, that's like one of the best all-time looking cards right there from that era.
And the back of the cards are pretty spiffy too, as well.
Screams mid-90s with that like random graph background.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the graph paper background. 100%. Dwight Evans from the Baltimore Orioles.
Nice stash.
Yeah, nice stash. Looks like he swung and missed here, so he's a little agitated that didn't hit that pitch.
Looks like he swung at a changeup there.
Yeah, looks like he probably got fooled by something off speed. Carlos Quintana from the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, he had a pretty good career.
Mm-hmm. Carlos Martinez from the Cleveland Indians, and this is your classic Cleveland Indians Major League look.
There you go.
We always like to see there.
Not a strong pack so far.
No, it's not. It's getting a little bit better. Brent Maine was a solid player. For
Rockies catcher.
Yeah, here picture with the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, that's a good looking jersey. Baby blue head to toe.
Yeah, very nice look. I'm hoping we get some rookies in here. Shane Mack from the Minnesota Twins.
He got his own starting lineup too, I believe, Shane Mack, but he was a good player for them.
Yep, another card that's stuck together. Terry Steinbach with the Oakland A's.
Now we're talking. There's a good catcher right there. Multi-time All-Star.
Yep. Mickey Morandini from your Philadelphia Phillies, second baseman.
Might be able to build the Phillies outfield there soon. You got the Darren Dalton, you got Mickey Morandini. You're halfway there.
Yeah, got a bunch of those. Another couple solid catchers here. Joe Oliver, your picture with the Cincinnati Reds.
He's certainly not Johnny Bench. But.
No, he's not. This next guy isn't either. He's better known for his managerial career. But Mike Scioscia with the Dodgers.
He was a solid defensive catcher in his day. Also, great appearance on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But loved working at the power plant to his own demise. Poor guy.
Poor guy. We do have our first rookie card of the pack, and this is a good one to get.
Baby.
How about Pudge Rodriguez?
Now that is a pull. There we go.
Yeah, that is a pull right there. I want to check out the corners of this one just to make sure there's a little something here on the card. I can't tell if it's part of the photo where it's like dirt kicked up or if it's an imperfection on the card. You can kind of see it a little bit down there where my finger's pointed.
I have to take a magnifying glass to that and figure it out.
But still, getting a Pudge rookie card is pretty solid there.
14-time All-Star, 13-time Gold Glove, 7-time Silver Slugger, 2003 World Series champ, NLCS MVP. He was also an MVP. I mean, Hall of Famer. I mean, you talk about one of the great catchers of all time. That's a good pull.
Yeah, and this is a catcher-heavy pack because here's Pat Borders.
Oh, wow. That's like 2/3 of the pack have been catchers.
Yeah, there's been a lot of catchers in this pack. I'm not complaining. I mean, that's not an easy... It's not an easy position to play. I played catcher a little bit when I did play Little League, and especially when it's hot out and you're wearing that mask and all that equipment, it's just not fun.
No, and you're also kind of running the infield. You're kind of like the coordinator out there.
Exactly. I was very happy when they decided to move me to first base. I was like, thank God. all I have to do is run to the bag and catch the ball. Mark Lemke from the Atlanta Braves here.
Good second baseman there.
Yep, and last but not least, one of the all-time Seinfeld references, Jay Buhner.
Jay Buhner, who was traded for Ken Phelps. I have both starting lineups, by the way, somewhere. Yeah. I'll have to do a Seinfeld edition back here in the starting lineup studio audience one day.
Yeah, and here, obviously, picture with the Mariners. So, very solid baseball cards that we pulled here today. I'm very pleased with some of these classics that we got in this pack, in these two packs here. And your pack was pretty solid, too. So.
My pack was solid. The Fleer Ultra pack started slow but finished strong. Now, when we did our little pack exchange for Christmas, I do have this random pack at 92 Fleer, not Ultra. I mean, do we want to just rip through that quick and take a look?
Was that one of the ones I sent you?
It was.
Then, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's do it. We'll do it quick.
Nice little bonus pack. What year was this? 92?
This is 92. So same year as the Fleer Ultra, but just not Ultra, just regular Fleer.
Just regular Fleer. I'm going to be so upset if I actually sent you like a super valuable rookie. But honestly, if I did, more power to you. I'm happy you have it.
Well, thank you. So this is, I love the look from this era too. So we start off with a Yankee here. We got Jesse Barfield. It's got that greenish background. All the cards look like that with the team logo there. Here's a good one. Tony Gwynn. There we go. We didn't get the Tony Gwynn autograph in yours, but we do get a Tony Gwynn base in this 92 Fleer.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn, maybe the best pure hitter I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, Maddox is like that was like one of the only batters Greg Maddox struggled with. We got Tony Pena here, who went on to be a manager.
Long-time coach in Major League Baseball. He was the Yankee bench coach for a bunch of years too.
Now you had one of the nasty boys earlier. Here's Randy Myers, another nasty boy from the Reds.
Yeah, how about that? So we together we can unite the nasty boys. That's pretty cool.
We just need Norm Charlton and we'll be set. Here we got the indispensables, quote unquote, Bobby Bonilla and Will Clark. This is a Superstars special insert there.
We're probably using the term superstar a little loosely with Bobby Bonilla, but sure. I mean, indispensable. I think if you're a Met fan, you'd probably argue otherwise. I think you argue he's very dispensable, but I mean, we talked about the Bobby Bonilla contract either last Rip and Riff or a couple episodes earlier. So that won't be indispensable for a few more years for our pal Steve Cohen.
It will not. And good for Bobby Bonilla for having the foresight to do that. And speaking of the Mets, here's a prospect that never panned out for them, Terry Bross. This is become like we might be going a closer heavy pack here. You got Rick Aguilera pictured with the Twins.
Yeah, and I believe he pitched for the Mets as well. Was he on the 86 Mets?
I believe he was on the 86 Mets. And this pack kind of gets weak here as we close it out. So we got Bob Tewksbury, the Cardinals. It's talking about you had a great catcher pack. Here's another great catcher, Lance Parrish, pictured with the California Angels there. Andy Mota from the Astros, Mike Sims from the Astros. We got Scott Garrett, never heard of you, Giants. Ron Robinson with the old Brewers logo, Bob Patterson with the Pirates, Donnie Paul with the White Sox. I bet Bill Zimmerman doesn't even know who you are. Lenny Harris, good player.
Well, that's him when he comes on the show in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'll put that one off to the side so I remember. Lenny Harris from the Dodgers. He was a good player.
Lenny Harris, one of the greatest pinch hitters of in Major League Baseball history. I believe he still is the record for most pinch hits.
And we're going to close with a guy here pictured as a Red, but was one of the more fun members of that 96 Yankees World Series championship team, Mariano Duncan, who coined the phrase, "We play today, we win today, that's it."
I love it. Love me some Mariano Duncan. So very nice card there to close out the pack there.
A little bit of a rapid rip there. We might have to make that a feature where we just go through a pack quick and just post it online one day. But yeah, that was fun. We did a lot of baseball today, and I think it's time for a little starting lineup figure 5 here. For you have 5 guesses for me to unbox the starting lineup. It's obviously a baseball player today. I wasn't going to deviate from the formula, and that's all you get there. So it's time to get to the questions.
Is it Jay Butte? No, I'm just kidding. One of these days, I'm going to get it right on the show with whatever random. It's going to be the. Who's the NBA player a couple weeks ago? I was going to do that when I lost the power.
Oh, Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm going to do that on the show. I'm going to nail it, and it's going to be an all-time moment. But I guess today's not going to be that day.
It will not.
Is this player a Hall of Famer?
You bet.
You bet. Okay. Did this player win a World Series?
Never won a World Series.
Never won a World Series. Okay. Is the team that he is most closely associated with an AL team or an NL team?
An AL team.
Although
he is known for playing on an NL team, but we all associate the AL team.
We all associate the AL team.
2 to go.
Is this player a pitcher?
Not a pitcher.
Is this player an outfielder?
He is an outfielder.
All right, so let's recap what we have here. He's a Hall of Famer who never won a World Series, primarily played in the American League. and is an outfielder.
Yes. And I threw you a freebie. He did spend some time in the National League at the end of his career.
Yes. Is it Ken Griffey Jr.? Nice. I love it. He actually spent time in the AL at the end of his career because he came back to the Mariners and he played for the White Sox for a little bit as well. But yeah, Ken Griffey Jr., the sweetest swing I've ever seen any baseball player have.
And it's pouring rain right now outside my window, so it's appropriate that we opened something from Seattle. So yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. there. I mean, if you didn't like Ken Griffey Jr., there was something wrong with you. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a you problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if like you rooted against the Mariners, like Ken Griffey Jr. was just the epitome of cool. Like he was the coolest player in baseball. Like growing up as a kid. Plus, he had the Nintendo games as well. Got the nice poster there. Yeah, I mean, he was. I mean, for a good 5 or 6 year stretch, he was the face of baseball. And you know, it's a shame after he got traded to Cincinnati that he had all those injuries because, I mean, he could have legitimately challenged for Hank Aaron's home run record.
It's amazing that we talk about like him in the sense that like, okay, if only the injuries hadn't gotten him, like, and he still had a complete Hall of Fame career. Like, it blows my mind.
Right. Like he had a Hall of Fame career just from his Mariners days.
Yeah, this is a good one here, and we're gonna have to maybe throw this back on the Rip Cam to show it, since it looks like my video is the video frozen on your end?
It was frozen, but it is since re-picked back up, so you were good.
So we're good. Okay, so here we go. Here's Ken in the old spring training Mariners uniform. There we go. As it focuses, he's got the yellow lettering. He's got that old blue hat with the yellow S on it. There's Griffey on the back. Good swing. Not obviously the same pose as the card, because the card is just him, you know, standing there looking like he's taking his like spring training class day photo there.
Exactly. He looks thrilled to be there.
He looks, he looks like the sun's in his eyes, or it's like, let's just get this picture over with. I gotta get 50 more hacks in before I can call it a day. I mean, yeah.
All right, so just to give today's youth an idea, because I'm sure there's kids that watch this show who they've heard of Ken Griffey, but they don't really know like what he did or why he was such a big deal. From an 11-year span in the 90s, 1,535 games, 1,742 base hits, 398 home runs, 1,152 RBIs, 167 steals. He won an MVP. He was a 9-time Gold Glover, finished third place in Rookie of the Year voting. He was an All-Star every year except for his rookie year, and a 149 OPS. And that's all the first half of his career before the year 2000, before he turned 30. That's a Hall of Fame career right there.
And then he goes and for the Reds, he, you know, goes back to the All-Star game a few times his first year there, and then a few years later, once like he got injuries under control a little bit. I mean, man, him, and he got to play with his dad too. And you know what's funny is like he hates the Yankees. He has made it very clear that he would never play for the Yankees and all that. And as Yankee fans, like, I don't care. I still like the guy.
He played for the Yankees in Ken Griffey Jr. Major League Baseball on Nintendo 64 because I traded for his ass. So
would you send like some like Mel? Oh,
I probably sent Mariano Duncan or something.
Alvaro Espinosa.
Yes, and then there was the cheat code you put in where he would just hit a home run every time because it was an arcade style game. Anyways, it was a blast to play. God, I love the old Nintendo 64. Oh, which by the way, I gotta show you.
Little show and tell here.
Yeah, something I picked up the other day because I showed you this video on YouTube. Picked up a ROM hack cart of a Simpson Cart 64.
Now that's gonna stay in there, or are you gonna actually break it out and play it?
I'll probably break it out and play it at some point to make sure it actually works on the Nintendo 64. Also, I have to make sure my N64 has the expansion pack to actually play this. But yeah, I collect weird things like that. And once I saw this was an actual physical thing, I was like, I have to have this.
Now, of course, we can't leave the show without introducing this week's starting lineup studio audience, which Ken Griffey Jr. will be a part of next week. And there it is, folks. It's all baseball. We got Scott Brocious pictured in his 97 figure, Cal Ripken from his 95, the greatest closer of all time, Mariano Rivera, 1998 edition, and Barry Bonds, also 98 edition there in the Black Giants jersey. Then we got Tim Raines in the front because I love that old Expos hat with the red on the sides, the tricolor hat. And yeah, as you noticed, there was no unboxing from last week because Jared missed, but he got back on track today with Mr. Ken Griffey Jr.
Can you pull that Cal Ripken one up for a second? I want to just get a closer look at it. Yeah, it's just sort of weird. Like the way his hands were positioned in the photo, it was weird. I didn't realize this, he was actually like swinging the bat there. I guess that makes sense, but like that just kind of looks weird.
I never noticed that before, but here we are, and it's like, well, I guess I'm not putting that one back on the start of the studio audience.
Maybe there's one of him with the glove in the field. Yeah, I'm sure there's a '97 model you can get.
Maybe I do need to get a second Cal Ripken that is maybe just in a different pose. That's probably a good idea. And on that note, we're gonna get out of here. But before we do, of course, we got other things going on here. Stanley Cup playoffs right around the corner. Fresh episode of Total Hockey Now with myself, Anthony Rivera, and Christopher Murray out there talking some natural predators in the wild card playoff picture. The New Jersey Devils, which Jared writes about, all about thejersey.com. Going to have a fantastic off season, or an interesting one, I should say, at least. We'll see. We'll see. If Tom Fitzgerald does the job right, it should be a fun off season for the Devils.
Let's start with nailing the head coaching hire. Let's start with that.
Fair point. And of course, Jared's poker content at YouTube, as we like to joke around. If you want mediocre poker content, that is where you go. But it's actually better than mediocre. He won't say that, but.
And the content, look, my play is very mediocre, but the production, top notch.
There you go. And that's why you're tuning in anyway. You're just looking to see if it looks like. You're not looking for the actual information there. But
no, why would you want information from me? I'm a big dumb idiot.
Thank you to everybody who's tuned in today and watch us rip some baseball packs. We're with you every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, here on Rip N Riff on Twitter /X, YouTube, and Facebook. For at Mr. Jared Moore that way, I am at Pucking Thoughts. We're going to be back with you next week. We'll get back to the mixed bag stuff next week. Potluck episode of Rip and Riff here on the R&R Network.